The film begins by showing two teenage girls named Cara and Jessie. They plan to go to a lake. Before going, Cara asked her mother for permission first, and at that time her mother gave permission. Her mother's name is Deborah. Meanwhile, Jess was allowed to go by her mother, but before leaving Jess had to water the plants in the yard, and at that time Cara replaced Jess's task of watering the plants. While Cara was watering the plants, suddenly a man came and greeted her. Without suspecting anything, Cara approached him, but something unexpected happened here. Cara was taken by the man. Meanwhile, Jess is about to leave but is confused because Cara is not at home. Jess started looking for Cara in the front yard, but Cara wasn't there. The man took Cara to a place far from the crowds. It seemed that Cara would try to escape by observing the conditions around her, and when she felt safe, Cara got out of the car and ran quickly. But what happened? The weapon the man used was pointed directly at Cara. Unexpectedly, all these scenes turned out to be Cara's hallucinations. Jess looked panicked and then called Deborah to ask where Cara was. Deborah was surprised because Cara had just contacted her and was about to go to the lake. Not remaining silent, Deborah then contacted Ryan to tell her that Cara was missing. Currently, Cara is at the house of the man who took her. Then everything that binds Cara is revealed. After that, he started telling the rules in his house. The first is that Cara cannot run away because she always carries a weapon wherever he goes. The second is that Cara has to call her father. The third is that Cara has to obey his wishes, and not only that, Cara also has to ask permission if he wants to do something. If he violates, then there are consequences to be accepted. Deborah is seen contacting her ex-husband, Ron, and starts telling Cara what happened. After that, Deborah reported this to the police, but at that time the police could only accept the report and could not process it because Cara had not disappeared for 24 hours. As time goes by, Cara begins to find out who he really is. It turned out that the man was a former Marine. He has carried out his duties for 9 years and received many awards. The man said that he would not hurt Cara and would let her go if Cara did not try to escape. Then Cara is seen sweeping the floor, and Cara uses this to find out more information about the man. Because Cara didn't come home, Deborah returned to the police station in the hope of finding Cara, but the police were still unable to process this case further. The police will start investigating if Cara doesn't come home within 2 by 24 hours. That evening the man took Cara to watch the news on TV. It turned out there was no news about Cara, and then he said that no one cared about Cara, including mother, father and Jess. In the morning Cara woke up and saw her kidnapper still fast asleep. She didn't waste that opportunity. With all her strength, Cara managed to untie her ties and easily managed to get out of the house. Cara ran as fast as possible to the main road and asked passing road users to take her to the police station. Long story short, Cara arrived at the police station. Lieutenant Roland immediately opened the handcuffs that were still binding Cara. Then Lieutenant Roland asked Cara to tell what happened, and Cara began to tell the chronology of what happened to her. Lieutenant Roland ordered his men to immediately look for a missing report in the name of Cara Robinson, and the person who helped Cara was asked for information regarding where Cara was found. Not long after, Lieutenant Roland contacted Deborah to inform him that his son had been found. Sergeant Bonnie invites Cara to return to where she was held captive. Then the three of them headed to where Cara was being held. After arriving at the location, it turned out that Cara didn't know exactly which apartment it was because the shape of the building was the same, which made Cara difficult. Sergeant Bonnie then asked one of the complex users there, but the address given by Sergeant Bonnie was incomplete. Until finally Cara got out of the car to give the address in detail, and yes, he also knew the house in question. The kidnapper's name is Eric. Lieutenant Roland was very grateful to Cara because Cara's explanation made it easier for the police to investigate this case, because he didn't want anything to happen to Cara. Sergeant Roland took Cara back to the police station. They were seen starting to search every room in the house, but Eric was no longer there. After that, Sergeant Bonnie returns to the police station to meet Cara and Deborah. Sergeant Bonnie shows Cara some photos to find out more information, and Cara easily points out a man named Eric. At that time, Cara began to tell a long story about Eric's identity. Everything Cara knew was discussed right then and there. This made her mother and Sergeant Bonnie really amazed at Cara because she was able to remember in detail what happened. Then Cara asks the police to open the large box kept under Eric's pet. Cara suspects there is something hidden there. After receiving information from Cara about the box, they immediately opened it. And sure enough, there was a lot of evidence in that box. Sergeant Bonnie and Cara's friends are seen starting to distribute posters of Eric's face. They start distributing them to passers-by, attaching them to electric poles, and also distributing the posters to shops, in the hope that they can help find Eric more quickly. Police concluded that Cara's case was related to an incident involving an underage girl several years ago. It turns out that before carrying out the action, the perpetrator collected information about the girl who would be the next victim and wrote down the name of the target. However, Cara's name was not found on the list. What was there was Jesse's name. For security reasons, the police were alert to guard Cara's house, but this situation made Cara very uncomfortable. Today Ryan will play baseball. Knowing this, Cara really wanted to go there but was forbidden by Deborah, and that happened at that time. Until finally Cara was allowed to leave under police escort. When the police were guarding the intersection, they found Eric walking, but Eric first saw the police and then Eric ran away. Then the police immediately chased him and Eric was cornered. The police told Eric to put down his weapon, but due to pressure, Eric chose to end his life right then and there. Knowing this, the sheriff, Lieutenant Rowland, and Sergeant Bonnie looked very disappointed because if Eric was still alive they could solve the case that occurred the previous year. One day, Deborah had prepared Cara's breakfast, and at that time Deborah said that Eric had left. Hearing this news, Cara felt disappointed with Deborah and the police. Then Cara came out, and not long after that the sheriff came to see Cara. Sheriff apologizes for not telling Cara about this sooner. Cara also expressed her emotions that what Cara wanted was justice. Cara wants Eric to be severely punished and imprisoned forever. During the conversation, Cara asked the sheriff not to tell everyone about the bad incident that happened to her, especially his father, mother and Jess. Then Sheriff expressed his appreciation to Cara and thanked her for her courage in uncovering this case. Sheriff also says that he will recruit Cara for the future. And the film The Girl Who Escaped ended. See you in the next video. Thank you.